try one more time. All right, let's see what we've got. Close this one out.
Do you want to record it?
Not until we get going.
Whoa, starting off good this time.
Yeah, we'll see if that stays that way. So hold on, guys, just 1 second and we'll see if this is working. So it looks like we may have a connection. I don't know. So we'll see. Yeah, doesn't look fantastic, that's for sure. Like I have no video yet, which doesn't make any sense to me. So here's what's gonna happen. If this video does not work today, we'll try again later tonight. And if the connection still isn't good tonight, we may just have to table the live videos. Because even when I try to do these videos, you guys can see me, I can't see me. I wonder what is going on.
And at best, maybe we'll be able to do it like once a week.
Maybe, yeah, maybe once a week. I have no video. So I'm glad that you guys can see me because I can't see anything on the live. But anyway, so if this is not great today, then what we'll do is, like I said, we'll try later tonight. If it doesn't go well tonight, we might just have to table them all together. When I try to edit the videos, to give you guys an idea, yesterday's video was like 36 minutes long. And it took me probably about 6.5 hours to get it posted because it has to go through, I have to go through and edit the video and do all the rendering and everything like that. And see, I'm not seeing that we're actually seeing good video here yet, which is kind of a bummer. So hold tight for just 1 second and let me see what we have. Well, but it's really crappy, see that?
Yeah, but that's just on our stuff.
So I don't know. So you guys tell me really quickly, those of you guys who are here and can see this, is the video really jumpy? Because on my end, what I'm seeing is it's really glitchy. It pauses for a long time and I get a little spinny circle. Is that what you guys are also seeing? Because if that's the case, that's not a good video. So let's see what they have to say about that.
I'm gonna wait because they're a little bit behind us.
In the meantime, so if it happens to be working, what I'm trying to show you today is how to, the video is good, okay. Good, I'm glad to see that the video is good, so maybe I'll just keep going and I'll watch the replay and see how good or bad it is, and maybe we'll kind of go with that. All right, well, if you guys are seeing me okay, we're gonna go ahead and go forward then. That makes me feel a bit better. I don't know what is up with my stuff, but you know, I pay a lot more money than I should for this kind of a connection. I miss fiber optics. When we first moved here, I could not believe that they said that we don't have fiber optics, and finding a good cable company is, well, you know how that is, because I'm pretty sure it's the same everywhere you go. But man, I miss fiber optics. That was lovely to have, for sure. So, all right, there is still a little bit of buffering. Okay, thank you, Bobby. But as long as it's still looking good, I think we'll go ahead and go with it. So what I want to show you guys today is adding kind of some depth and dimension to your pieces. This can be done any number of ways, but today we're going to talk about a couple really simple ways. Now, other ways that I'm not going to talk about are going to be like making your own forms and using the hydraulic press, because again, not everybody has that. But we wanted to kind of keep this basic and simple, especially as my girls are still learning. And speaking of my girls, I have one. I can hear Kiari running around up there. I don't know what she's doing. Oh, yeah, now I hear her flopping down the stairs. So I'm kind of surprised she wasn't here already. Okay, so video's good, blips a couple times, hangs for a bit. Well, thank you guys. I'm
What?
So, you know what today is, right? It is April 1st, which is also what?
I don't trust this.
Prank day?
I don't trust
Prank
it.
day?
Trust it,
No.
please.
Hold on. So,
It's not a prank.
We've been
It's a
eating
prank.
Starburst.
No,
Okay,
it's
shh, 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 shh.
It's
Okay.
not a prank.
You know that I don't trust.
All right, Kiari, hang tight. Okay, just a second here. So anyway, so Kiari just brought down a Starburst that is all wrapped up. I mean, that can't possibly, like, not a true Starburst,
It's
right?
not a prank.
All right, you should open it.
There's a special end that you have to open.
There's a special end. Which end do you have to open it? You better come help her. So, and John, thank you so much. I'm glad you guys are doing okay with this video. But anyway, so while we go through the not prank Starburst, let me talk about a couple of the things that we are going to talk about as far as adding some form and dimension. Now, one of the simplest ways that you can do this, basically kind of add a curve or a dome to your piece. And so, hey Kiari, question came up. What did you name your unicorn? Do you have a unicorn name for this one?
Icing.
Yeah.
Is this the one from Will? Or who is this one from? This is the one from Will? So Kiari actually got this from one of my good friends, William Cobb, and she does not go too often without it. But what's its name?
Icing.
Icing, because, you know, that's a great name. Dude, this is like what our hair looks like today. Look at that.
Well, I was jumping out on the tramp before this. My quality's back to bad.
Oh, great. Bad quality. Well, we're going to go forward and hopefully it'll catch up to us and
Maggie.
it just is going to be what it is and we'll see what happens. Okay, it's marginal, honey.
Open it.
All right, hold on. You got to open it so everybody can see.
Yeah.
I
Sugar,
see.
huh?
So, okay. So now there was a Starburst wrapper around the Starburst and that doesn't look suspicious at all.
Okay, just open the second one.
Just open it, honey.
And then you can eat it.
At least it's not salt. So Kate poured salt in Kiari's muffin today. So
didn't pour it in.
Kiari has been trying very hard to get Kate back ever since.
No prank.
Oh, it's okay. Hey, no poor sports. We don't do poor sports. Is it pretty good?
Yeah.
Is it sugar or is it salt?
I can't taste anything. I didn't bite to it.
Oh, we should try it. It's very timid. All right, so back to this.
You put salt in it, but you can barely taste it.
I didn't put salt in it.
Just sugar?
It was only sugar.
I trust her.
Because I even opened it up. Uh-oh, I think I forgot to close it.
Oh, okay, go close
I
it.
think I forgot to close the
No.
sugar.
Okay, I think it's sugar.
It
Okay,
was sugar.
so what we're going to do.
You got it stuck?
All right.
You got a sticker stuck on it.
Okay, shh. You guys, stay on task. Please, go close the sugar and then I'm starting. Okay, so what I've done is I have stamped out a couple of discs. So I have oval discs, I have round discs. Some of them have pattern on them, some of them do not. Some of them have been annealed and some of them have not. And I actually brought down a couple of pennies as well. So this would work the same for silver and for gold, but I'm only working with copper and brass today just because
That's what most people
because what was around. Right, so let's look at a few of the tools that we're going to be using. Kate, the doll can't be on the screen, dingbat. Okay, so what I have here is I have a number of wood dapping blocks. So I have a dapping cube that has a number of sizes of crevices in it, or domes, or spheres, half spheres, divots, I don't know, whatever we're gonna call those. Anyway, so it has a few of those. Then I have, and I really, really enjoyed these, and you can tell that I use these oval ones quite a bit.
They're
But
bubbles.
What's that? They do look like bubbles, don't they? So I have these shallow dapping sheets, dapping blocks, and I really, really like them.
Bubble holders.
They do not come with any pushers, so I will show you what I use for those in just a moment. And I have seen some other shapes. I have seen heart, teardrops, and squares as well, but as you can see, I only have just the ovals and the rounds here in my studio.
Bubble holders.
They look like bubble holders, don't they?
They're bubble holders holding little bubbles.
Yes. Now let's talk a little bit about this block really fast, and then we'll talk about some of the other tools that I have as well. So as far as this block goes, hopefully we're still live because I've got nothing on my video.
You've got an ad.
Wait, why do I have an ad? Did we stop recording? That's weird. If you guys are seeing an ad, I didn't put an ad there. I don't know why that's happening.
Showing.
Ah, that's really odd.
Chat anymore.
Oh dear. Did we lose our video? No, we're still there. How strange is this? Oh my goodness, it's going to be the death of me. Huh. Let's go. Let's try this. Hold tight, guys, while we figure some of this stuff out. Good heavens, what is... I've got gremlins in my internet stuff. Wow.
Oh, the internet has corona.
Look, she said
The internet has stuff, that's for sure. Yes. Okay, so let's talk about the little wooden block. These, matter of fact, I think when I very first got started with jewelry, this was probably one of the first things I bought. Why? Because it's under $10, I believe. So they're really, really inexpensive, and you really don't know too much better when you're very first getting started. And it does work. It works quite nicely. So, Felix, thank you. I'm glad. I don't know what's up with this. I'm not normally this technically challenged, so it's quite unusual for us. But anyway, so what I'm going to do, So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my piece in here. Now, if I want my piece to curve in a cupping shape facing out, then I'm going to put my pattern up. But if I want to have it where the dome is on the outside, then I would put my pattern on the underside. Now this one has a pattern on it. Let me zoom this in for you guys just a little bit so you guys can see this a little closer. See if we can get this in here. So you can see that I do have a texture on this piece. When I'm working with a wood block, it's not that big of a deal because the wood is not going to remove my pattern. However, if I move into a steel block with steel pushers, then it is a big deal, and I'll show you how to address that here in just a second. So first thing we want to do, well, first of all, this particular little cube comes with two pushers. So you have a shallow, well, you've got a shallow pusher, and then you've got one that's a little smaller diameter that you can get into tighter shapes or tighter areas and will work well with smaller domes. In this particular case, these pushers, even this wider one, actually works with all of the different spheres in here. So it doesn't matter if you go with a small one or whatnot. One of the things that you want to do is you want to put your piece into one of the spheres or half spheres here that is larger. So this, if I put this in here while this fits, there's a long way down to the bottom, and I don't want to do that. If I do to this, if I do put this in here and I try to go down, I'm going to start to shape this too fast, and you're going to end up with wrinkles or crinkles, crinks. Anyway, you're going to end up with some undesirable effects. So it's
End up with crinkles.
yeah, you're going to end up with crinkles. So it's better to start off with a larger shallow dome and then bring your piece up little by little. So Kate, I'm going to let you do this, and what we are going to do is I'm going to use just a nylon mallet. You can use this one, you could do one of the dead blow hammers, you could even use like our stamping hammer, and it doesn't matter which side you use on that either. So that's not a big deal. Thank you, Donna. I appreciate that you say it's not me. I hope it isn't me. You know, in my former life, I actually used to teach computers and very quite technically savvy. Okay, so Kate, what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you do this. Now, you can either start at a side and kind of work your way into the middle, or because this one is so shallow, it's not going to matter if you start in the middle. Okay, but I want you to go ahead and start, and we want to see what happen as you move through this. Okay, there you go. So make sure you keep it right here so that they can actually see it on the camera. Okay, so now if you don't happen to see, she's resting her hand on the block. So I know it makes it so you guys can't see what she's doing here as far as holding, but this is what you want to do. You want to rest your hand on the block and really kind of brace everything.
I have a bouncy ball.
Made out of Starburst.
No.
Dude, no more Starbursts. I'm sorry, dude, but no more Starbursts. You've had plenty.
You're supposed to tell them.
I'm sorry. And now we can't show them because you ate it. Okay, so notice that what she's done is she's come in here and worked all the way through and around the piece. So we have a nice even surface in here. Now I can actually feel that there's still a little bit that hasn't been pushed down. So when I do this, no, you're okay. So yes, it is hard to see. So when I do this, I'm just gonna come in and I'll place this in different areas to kind of push that down. Now if we look at it, we have a nice even dome on that. And from here, then we can start to go to some of these deeper ones. This one's still a little bit too deep, so I don't want to go quite that deep. So you want to have just a little bit underneath, but not too much. So again, I'm going to come in here and work this down. So notice that I'm just kind of working my way around the piece. Kiara, you gonna do the video with us?
What?
Are you gonna do the video with us? I have a treat for you to, well, I have not a treat, but I have something special I want you to try. Okay. So we don't have a wooden block. Can you make your own? Angela, yes, I believe that you can make your own. This one is not a hard wood, and I can feel that. It's very, very light wood. I'm not totally sure what this one is. These are a little harder, and I want to say that these might be maple, maybe. They look, I don't know, a couple of them look a little different. You can make your own as long as you have that ability, but they're not that expensive. Like even these, I think that these are under $10, and the big ones, I believe, are under 20. So they're really inexpensive when it comes to the wood ones. After you eat what?
I wanted to show them the Starburst ball.
I'm sorry.
Then you said, well, now we can show them, and I thought of that right after I ate.
After you ate it. That's a bummer, darn it.
But could make one out of it.
So, okay, so the other question is, yes, maple would work very well. Now, yesterday, I showed you guys the swage block that my father-in-law made, and those were made out of a hard cherry, and the first ones that we made were actually made out of a black walnut, which are both very, very hard woods. So I would definitely suggest kind of a harder wood if you are going to try this, but like I said, this one, there's no way that this is a hard wood. Like I can feel that it's not super hard. So, you know, you can even, well, matter of fact, oh, here's one right here. So here's a block. This is an end cutoff of when I was building my tables here in the studio. And it's, this is just pine. So super, super soft. And what I've done is I've taken some hammers, just like an embossing hammer, and I have hammered into this where I've created kind of that oval dip or that oval groove. And that's all I need. So it doesn't have to be a hard wood, and it doesn't even have to be super precise. It's kind of nice where these are precise, but doesn't have to be. All right. Let's see, what else was I gonna?
The thing that you wanted me to do.
In just a minute. You can go, why don't you go wash off your face, and then I will do it with you, okay? Okay. So hopefully that answers your question there for that. Let's see, probably. Okay, so I think we've got most of the questions answered. I think we're good. All right. So one of those things, again, like I said, I just want to kind of work my way around that piece on there. So,
applauded you.
What's that?
Someone applauded you.
Oh, good. But look how behind our video is even. All right.
Well, it's ours because ours isn't on live.
Ours is not on live anymore? Yeah,
No,
it is.
because it stopped.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it stopped for the ad.
How weird.
Come on.
Okay.
There we go.
I'm going to toss all the internet stuff out the window. It's so frustrating. Okay. Anyway, so that's what we were looking at that way. Now, when it comes time to working with these larger blocks, let me show you a little bit of what I use with these. I can use these same pushers that came with this smaller block. Let me zoom out here a little bit for you. So I can use these same pushers, or there's another kit that I have bought, and it has 5 different sized pushers, and you will see that there are 2 that I use quite regularly. So I use these 2 smaller ones the most, and then this one would be the next. I've only used these 2 larger ones a handful of times, but that's typically because I don't have a really large piece that I'm trying to form. When I get more into forming some bowls or dishes, which I'm going to do a little bit later, then I would want to use this to kind of get that shallow curve in there before I really start to raise or sink that bowl. So that's an option too. The other thing that's kind of nice about these, you guys, they make perfect mandrels for different things. And these are a little bit harder wood. They're again not super hard, but it is definitely a harder wood than, say, this little block that we were just using. Okay, so there's that. In addition, you also have, and I'll have Kiari come in and form one of these. Oh, let me show you guys really quickly with this oval. Well, tell you what, go get Kiari. I'll have her do the oval, and then I'll show these guys this other part first. So another dapping block. When I very first got started doing any of the jewelry, I thought, you know, I can find cheaper tools. It's not a problem. I'd go to Harbor Freight and I would buy some tools, because we all do that. Especially when we're very first getting started. We don't know if we're going to be doing this for a long time, how serious we're going to be. And when you very first get started, you may or may not know. You get what you pay for when it comes to tools, and it matters. Okay, so obviously I was just as excited as everybody else is to find out about Harbor Freight when you very first get going. And I bought quite a few things there. And I bought up quite a few things that are absolutely not used in my studio anymore. There are quite a few things that are used in my studio, but not a disc cutter. Don't ever buy a disc cutter from Harbor Freight. Don't do it. $30 looks fantastic. Don't do it. And then their dapping set. Now here's the other part of this too. So I saw the dapping set that Harbor Freight has, and it was like $40, and I had like maybe a 20% off coupon for that. So what a deal, right? Massive deal. Perfect. So of course that's what I bought, because I saw that exact same kit for $90 at Contenti and Auto Fry and Rio Grande and wherever else I was looking. Well, 40 with a 20% off coupon, or $90. They looked exactly the same. So it had the same holder, it had all the same punches, it had the same dapping block, all of it. So of course I thought I was doing myself a favor and saving so much money and being so smart and not figuring, you know, why isn't everybody else this smart? Turns out they were probably a little smarter than me, because I went ahead and spent that smaller amount.
I have a ball.
Do we have a bouncy ball? You gonna eat your bouncy ball?
It's made out of Starburst.
Is it? That's a yummy bouncy ball then, huh? So on my dapping set, you have all of the punches. And a few of them actually looked pretty good. And a few of them had cone heads. And you can imagine what happens when you have a cone head. You end up with a little tiny punch or a dot that ends up on your piece, kind of like you've hit it with an embossing hammer or a round peen on the hammer, which is definitely not what you want when you're trying to create a cup or a forming, right? So do yourself a favor. There are certain tools. There are a few tools that you always want to spend your money right on the first time. So those tools would be a disc cutter, a rolling mill, a flex shaft, and I would even venture to add your dapping sets. Buy them one time, buy them right, spend the money, and you won't regret it later, okay? Because if you take the time and the money and you buy the nice one, you spend your money one time. Whereas if you buy the cheapy one and you end up with cone heads, you now have tools that cannot be used and you have to spend your money again. So that would be my suggestion to you there. And there goes our video again.
Spend it once and not a billion times.
Yes. So Kiari, why does it keep doing this?
It's not supposed to be out doing live videos, is it?
No. I've never told it to do live or ads. I don't know. All right, so Kiari, what I want you to do is I want you to form an oval. Yeah, you want to put your bracelet on? Okay, so I want you to form the oval for me, okay? So Kate showed them how you do the, what?
What's that?
Oh, I hope we're not disconnected. It shows that we're still live, so hopefully we're good.
Sorry, 21
Looks like we are. So what I'm going to have Kiari do here is I'm going to have her form the oval. Now, things that you want to consider when you're doing these ovals, again, same type of thing. Do you want your pattern up so that you've got a cup shape inside of this, or do you want your pattern down so that it forms the other way? We're going to go ahead and leave our pattern up on this. Now, Kiari, when you do this, we're working with a round punch. How do you think this needs to be done? What do you think? Huh? What do you think? Dude, come on. You got to show them. They're waiting for you. Oof. So what do you think? Do you do it right in the middle, or how do you think you're going to do it? Let's start over here. What do you think? So I think what we should do is we should start at one end and work our way down to the other end.
Here.
Yep, thank goodness. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to hold this, okay?
On the
Yes, but hold your hand down. No, don't let go. So again, you want to hold your hand down so that, see how I've braced my hand over here to hold it? Yep, you want to hold that, but you want your hand down, okay? And you want to be careful about not pushing it out. Now hold your hand down further in case you miss, because you don't want to hit your hand with the hammer, right? There you go. That's actually looking really good, dude. Keep going. Give it a couple taps. Good. Now what you want to do is pick it up and move it towards the middle of the piece. And you're going to do it again. Oh, that's beautiful. You braced your hand just right and everything. Good. Now pick it up and move it to the very end.
So on an oval one, you can't spread in the center of it?
No, you can start in the center of an oval, but it's better if you don't, because just like when we were doing the round one, if
What are these for?
here, they can't see where you're holding it. So when you have this, if you start right in the middle, you run that risk of kind of forming it too quickly, and it will wrinkle or put kinks in there, you know, so you may not end up with the best results.
You want to start on the edge.
Yeah, I like starting on the edge with the oval ones. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this to the next smaller one down. Now when I do this, don't be afraid to hit. Don't be afraid to hit it, okay? So you don't have to tap it lightly. You can do a little harder. Even though we have a pattern on this, I'm not worried about that pattern being knocked out. Why?
I didn't even worry about that either because I didn't think of that.
Right, well you didn't think of it, but that's because you're 9 years old. But if this was in a metal one, exactly, we don't have to worry about it because it's in the wood.
Yeah.
So, exactly. So again, we want to just kind of go from one size to the next and kind of work our way up that way. All right, so the next one that I want to do though, and this is the one I think that you will have some fun with, Kiari. Kate, over by my disc cutters, there is a red urethane pad. Will you please bring that over here?
Yeah.
Hurry fast. Okay.
A little bit that's not colored in that's good.
That's okay. All right, yeah, so go grab that. So now what I'm going to do is I have, watch your fingers please. Okay, we have a Durston set here. And
Heavy.
it's very heavy, isn't it? So, yes, please. So this I really like. I love this Durston set because it's got the handle on it. You can pick it up, move it around, carry
Isn't it heavy?
It is heavy. Yes, it is heavy. So I like this one because of the portability that it has. What I'm going to do, this is just a urethane pad, but you could also use like a rubber mat from underneath your bench block. Anything at all like that would work just fine. I like to have something underneath my block just to kind of help deaden the sound a little bit as we're doing some of this. So Kiara, look what I have here.
Ooh.
You think
I found a dime.
Nice. Well, I don't want to do a dime, but a penny I don't mind doing.
I don't know where it went. I think it's still in the kitchen, maybe.
Okay. So if we have a penny, notice that it has a design or a shape on that.
It used to be there.
Okay. So let's try this. Let's go ahead. I'm going to put this penny in here. All right. Next thing we need to do is we need to find a dap that's going to fit in here. I don't want it to be too big and I don't want it to be too small. Now hold up, hold up, hold up. Come, but bring that back here. Do you think, there you go. That's how it's going to fit in there. Okay. So what do you think? Is that too big, too small?
Maybe.
There's a lot of room around that one still, right? So maybe we'll try the next larger one. But that one seems to be too big. So I think we should go back to the other one.
Yeah, and then you can hit it a few times if we're going to hit with it.
Okay, so now notice.
It was exactly the right.
Let's see,
smell
did anybody
oil.
see our, yeah, there probably is some oil. Now I'm just gonna polish this up just a little bit so that we can see that we have a design on here. Okay, and we're gonna see,
It's Abraham Lincoln.
yes, it is Abraham
It's a
Lincoln.
penny.
1977.
1977.
Are those ones
Yep.
worth a lot of money?
No, but it is an actual copper penny. So it's not just the zinc kind that we have now. So, okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put that in there. Okay.
We've got some that could have been worth it, but they were
Okay.
1 year off.
So the other thing I really like about these Durston dapping sets is it has kind of a curved end up here on the end of this. And what that does is it makes certain that our hammer blow is actually more here on the top. So I really like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dap this down.
Can I try?
You wanna try it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, you try it. Stuff's falling off on, no, don't worry about it, just do this. Stuff's falling off on the other side of the bench here. You got that okay? I don't know.
I heard it over there.
Okay, so go ahead and hammer that down. Okay, so let's see what happens. So now we definitely have
Wow.
a nice dome shape. Let's
Can we do
zoom in.
another one?
Yes, hang on just 1 second. So let me zoom in here a little bit for you. Notice that we've definitely got our nice dome
It
to
almost
it.
looks like a doll ball.
Can you just a second? But what has happened is we have really diminished our texture in here. Abraham Lincoln had his face was out a little bit. It is now nice and flat.
Huh?
He's got a flat.
Yep, he's got a flat face, his clothing is flat.
Ah!
Yes, so we've lost a lot of our texture and our design there.
Got 2 more people.
Oh, good. Okay, so we've lost a lot of our pattern and our design, and that is definitely undesirable. So what I do for that, because I use this metal dapping block more often than not.
This one's like as big as this.
So Alice, you are kind of headed where I'm kind of going with things.
It's as
So
big as the hole is.
it is just as big as the hole is, you're right.
Oil.
So what, oh yeah, there's definitely oil on them,
How
because they're
big
oil.
This one is.
That is a very big one, isn't it? Okay,
It's
so,
so big.
okay,
too
shh, I've got to speak for a minute, please.
Don't do that.
Well, then don't speak for a minute. Okay, so what I did was I have a thin piece of leather. All right, now Alice just said you can use a pad of newspaper. You may not get perfect domes, but it works for many things. Whoa, don't do that. You just about knocked everything off the back of the table. So what I'm going to do is I just have a thin piece of leather and I'm just going to cut out a small little square here, and it doesn't have to be very big at all. All right. let me put this back. So now if I take a penny, and depending on where I want, you know, if I want my design out or design in or whatever, I'm going to place this pad between my pattern and either the block or the hammer or my punch. Okay, in this case, I'm going to go ahead and put my penny down. I'm going to put the pad on top of this. Okay, let me zoom you guys back in.
And then are we gonna use this? Okay.
Yes, you are going to use that punch again. Is that the right punch? I think that one's too big, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Yes, so that's the one you want to use. Okay. If you want to go grab some more pennies, you can. We'll do it probably after the video. But okay,
Yay.
you want to hold it and I'll do it? Or you want me to?
I want to hit it.
You want to hit it? Okay. Okay, I think we're zooming in a little too much right now. Go ahead. You got to hit it some more than that. And it's going to have to be harder. Yep, you can hold on to it like that. It's fine. But just keep it braced up against your block. Okay. All right, let me try. Because we definitely want to hit onto that. So now, if we look at our penny, again, we have our dome, but we have retained our pattern.
What does that mean?
So it means that it still has the texture. Our other penny, see how the penny is flat in here?
Look at this. This is so tiny.
Yep, there are some very, very small ones on here too, aren't there?
This one is as big as that.
Yes. So
Tiny, adorable.
I don't know, Kate. We'll find them in just a minute.
Adorable.
Okay, so the whole moral of that particular thing is that regardless of which one you're using, so stop. If you have a pattern on it, you need to be able to protect it somehow. And I do that, like I said, with just a thin piece of leather. And this leather will last you a long time. And if you need to do a bigger one, then I would probably cut a little larger piece because this would definitely be a bit small on that particular one. So be aware of that. Now, Kiari, do you think, or I have a square here, okay? So do you think we could dap the square?
Probably.
How would you do this? Because if I try to do it even in the largest impression in here.
It'll be square, but then you just put the thing on it and hit it a little.
Kind of. So this is actually a pretty big piece. This is 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start here. Okay? Because maybe we want to form it around to have a really nice tight form. Let me zoom this guy back out again and I will show you guys. Kate, you want to switch that camera for me, please? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start here on this larger one. And you can use the larger block, you can use a smaller block, it doesn't matter. But I'm going to do the same type of thing where we just kind of work around.
Ooh, can I try?
Yes. Okay, so I'm just going to do that where I kind of work around and then I'm going to get a little smaller. I'm going to go into a smaller dip now. Yeah. I'm actually going to have you do it in the middle one. And you can hear when your piece hits down and gets into the bottom of the block. So Alice says, I hadn't thought of using the leather. Good idea. I was actually thinking of a pad of paper when you have no dapping block at all. Oh, Alice, that is a really good idea. So, okay, so Alice, I misunderstood. So Alice was saying if you don't have a dapping block, maybe use a pad of newspaper or something like that, and you can hammer into that. Yes, absolutely you can do that. Other things you can hammer into are sandbags, urethane pads, things like that as well. Yep, so go ahead, and it's okay. So here's another thing too. I'm watching Kiari, and she's trying really hard to hit only right here and to keep this centered on here. But here's the thing, you don't have to. It's totally fine if you move it like that and hit like this in the center. Okay? Yep, so, and then you can just move it around and hit again. So it doesn't have to be you know, right in the center of the piece. Okay. Okay. So we're gonna move to a smaller one. All right, so Lena says, I think it's Lena. Whoever Little Mermaid won, or La One Mermaid, what is your name? Because I think I know who you are, but I'm not positive. Okay, so what I'm going to do.
Can I try
One
the
Mermaid.
smallest?
Okay, no, hang on just a second. So what we're going to do here is we're going to move now into one that's a little bit more shallow, or I mean a little bit of a steeper.
Smaller.
Yes, it is smaller, and it's also going to be a little deeper, but it's not as deep as this, and this is where I want to go. But if I put this in here right now, see how we're still barely fitting into this?
Yeah.
So that would be too much.
You still need to hit it.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to bring it down a little bit more into this one. Excuse you.
Excuse me.
So Kate, I'm going to have you do this one. So Kiara, let's scoot over so Kate can get in here. Louise, okay, so Louise, thank you, Louise. Louise was saying that she uses an old mouse pad, which is perfect as well.
Mouse pad? Wouldn't it hurt you?
No, okay, so I think you don't know what the mouse is for the
Isn't it-
computer. You know the mouse on the computer?
Yeah, that mouse. I
So-
thought she meant a mouse trap, and I was like, what?
No.
Oh, we found a mouse trap behind a picture in the workout room. And it had moldy bread or cheese on it.
Ew, well at least it didn't have a mouse in it,
We said
right?
no.
Yeah, I grabbed the plastic cup and it was like
And it
that.
snapped, huh? That's funny.
Like the cup didn't, but it went. Psh.
Well, at least we know that there's no mice in the house then, huh?
Well, maybe
That's good.
there is. Maybe it's just
Maybe
not
they're just
in
too
there.
smart.
Maybe they're just not in there.
Well, hopefully there are no mice. Okay, so yeah, so it is something that's a little bit difficult, that it does take some effort to work at. Good. So, and like I said before, don't be afraid to pull this in like this. So here, if I wanted to bring this in, it's totally fine to bring these in, and it's also totally okay to angle this so that you can really get into the areas that you want. So see how that's now curving that much nicer? Okay, so it's entirely fine to come in like that and just work your way into the center, right? Okay, Kiara, please stop. So what I'm going to do is let me get this formed just a little bit more, and then we will move it into that metal block. So the big takeaway on this, you guys, is that you need to form in stages. Don't ever just try to go right to your final or your ending place, because if you do that, it's not going to work well. So now if I test this, see how much of a better fit that is than what we have had up until now? No, it's it's Kate's turn to hit this. So now the other thing, hang on. The other thing too is you want to look at, okay, shh, you want to look at your punches. This punch actually is meant to fit in here. There is a little bit of space here, and you want that, because if this fit perfectly, when you go to put something in, it's no longer going to fit because it will have filled up all of that space. So Kate, go ahead and start doing this one. So Kate has a dead blow hammer that she's using. Don't be shy. Hit it. Okay, yeah, go ahead and hit it. All right, and let's see what we've got. So
Tried to hit around the side too.
no worries. And on this one, there's definitely a little divot right here in the middle of this. So what needs to happen is you just take this and you move it around, and you kind of hit it from different angles so that you kind of concentrate that forcing and making certain that everything is now more rounded. That makes sense? Okay. And then you can move it from one to the next, and you can also, it's totally fine as well to put a smaller dap in the larger hole also, because that will allow you to really kind of get in and move things around. Okay, so you can go ahead and do that. And then I have another one that I want to show these guys real fast. That's much better holding your hammer. Good job. Okay. Good job. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So now, again, like I said, this is a 1.5 inch piece square, and you can see now like how much curve and depth we have. It's a little cup that I use to hold flux and stuff in. So, and it's quite even all the way around. So again, like I said, you want to start shallow and then kind of work your way into this. We could keep going and make this tighter and tighter, but again, I would want to just take it in stages and in steps and continue to go. Now, not at any point have we done any annealing. Some metals are going to be harder to do if you do not anneal them. And as you get going on this, it is going to be something that you will want to anneal. But otherwise, it's not going to move very well. And annealed metal is going to move like butter. It is lovely when you have that. Meaning that it's really soft and it moves easy. Okay. Karen, yes, there are tons of blocks out there. This one happens to be a brass one. I like this because it is brass. Now, brass is going to have a little bit more give to it. Price on something like this, I want to say this one, oh man, I don't even remember now. But they can run upwards of $100, but I don't think that this one was. This one was probably in between the $60 to $80 range. But this one is a pretty big one, and there's tons on it, if you can see that. Lots and lots of little different sizes of these. Now,
We should do a video on how to anneal.
On how to anneal? Oh yeah, we'll definitely do that, because what I'm working up to is teaching you guys how to solder. So, and we're going to be talking torch work here pretty quick.
Yeah.
So, you can see like a good punch set is going to have lots and lots of different sizes. This one goes from 3 millimeters up to 50 millimeters, so 2 inches.
Your smallest
I
compared
think
to your
I might have accidentally raised it a bit.
Just a little bit, you think?
smallest compared to the biggest.
Yeah, so this is 3 millimeters compared to the 50 millimeters.
How many
So
of these do you think we could fit inside of this?
quite a few, huh? That's a good math problem for you. You should figure that out.
Awesome.
What?
This is the Earth, that's the sun.
No, pretty much, for sure. And actually, I don't even think that size is even close to accurate. Okay.
Maybe around like that big.
So now you've seen how we've taken it and we've kind of sunk a shape. Now, another thing that we can do is we can actually kind of form a shape over something. So in this case, I have a number of different blocks. These happen to be frets, and the frets line, you are taller. So the frets line has 4 different blocks in 2 different series. So this happens to be the Maker line, and the Maker line is a little less expensive, and they're made just a little bit different. So from the original line, or the original frets line. And what I would want to do, so here I've got a shape that, again, this one is actually patterned. What I would do here is I would come in and I would just begin to form a round. And I usually do this, I don't usually do this with small pieces like
Do you
this.
think it'd take longer or less time to do it like this?
Longer.
Will it get rid of your pattern or will it keep it?
This one, it depends. If I'm using the nylon hammer, I'm okay. My pattern will stay. But there will be
like this. Wow, we've really messed this up in the past week.
Yeah, but there will be some distortion of your pattern if you go around this way. Now, when I really use these is when I want to have a texture from the hammer. So if I want that hammered look, but I also want to have this domed. Let me grab a hammer really fast and I will show you guys this.
Videos, right?
What's that?
You've only used this hammer in live videos.
We have only used that hammer in live videos, that is correct.
1 week.
Yes. Well, that's because what we're hitting it on, I think you've got it on the wrong camera, sweetheart.
Which camera?
Nope, wrong camera there. Honey, there's 4 cameras, but look, it's this camera. So yeah, Well, back it up. It's not focusing. Back it up. Back it up. There you go. Okay. Okay, let me in here. Okay.
I'm on one of the chairs
So,
over there.
and I think I just locked your stool. Yep. Sorry. So when I use these little blocks here, I like to use it with a planishing or a texture hammer. You locked my chair.
On purpose.
So what I like to do
Because it's fun.
is come in here and do kind of my hammered texture. Okay, and I'm doing two things at once on this. One, I'm creating my hammered texture, but two, I'm also creating that dome shape on my piece. What's that?
Arizona.
Yes. Okay, so notice now, well, let me zoom you guys in a little bit so you guys can see this. So on this one, now I have my dome shape. Right, there we go. I've got the dome shape. The dome is where it's curved, but I also have,
Too big in my camera.
I have the beautiful hammered texture. So that's usually what I use these for. Or if a lot of times, if I'm setting a stone on a piece and I want to, especially like if I do, tube settings. If I do a tube setting or something like that, and I just want to have that contact point kind of focused, then I like to use these. If I have a piece that is very small, it's not at all uncommon for me to put this into a vise and hammer, or get my piece located right over this and hammer down. I also will do that with, good heavens. I also do this with rivets. So if I'm trying to rivet into a small area and I can't get one of my blocks into it, Kiara, honey, you need to get down, sweetie. This chair is too high and it's unstable. Okay, so that gives you kind of an idea. So overall, general, you can see how many different things you have that you can use. And obviously, like I said, we didn't talk about quite a few things. We didn't talk about, well, we talked about, but I didn't show, like using a pad of paper or the sandbag or anything else like that. But it gives you some ideas as to what are out there. These blocks are very inexpensive. I think I now have probably about, I think there's 2 more over there. So I probably have 6 or so of these.
Does inexpensive mean they're not that expensive?
Correct. Inexpensive means that they're pretty affordable. So, I mean, we're talking like under $20. And then I would highly suggest you get the little 5-punch set, and it comes with all 5 of these.
That's what I found.
And then you can use those even with the metal blocks. Now, the Durston set, this one's a more expensive set. This guy is probably about $350.
It's not $20?
It's not $20, but it is precision engineered.
I can't afford it. I'm sorry. Bye. Can't afford the things you're offering.
I know. So you have a wide range of things. I want to say that each of these blocks probably run in the $30 range for the Maker line. So it kind of gives you an idea of what you can use as you begin to acquire better tools and you start to work on things. The japping set is definitely one of those things that you want to spend your money right the first time. There are a number of sizes of dapping sets. So there are some that come with 100 pieces. There are some that only have 8 or 10 pieces. And you're just going to have to determine what kind of work you are doing, and that will help you decide what's going to work well for you. Okay, you can also buy just the blocks. You can also buy just the punches.
This is 24 plus the block.
Yes. So it gives you some ideas, and hopefully that helps you guys a little bit. And let's see, make sure we've got all of our questions covered, and I think we do. So I think we'll call this video good because my kids have some more energy that they need to go outside and work off a little bit, apparently.
We were outside playing.
Okay. Anyway, guys, thanks for bearing with us while we deal with all the different technical issues, and hopefully it worked out okay. I won't know for sure until I go back and watch the preview or the the replay. I can't even talk now.
Thank you for watching.
Yes, thank you for
We
watching.
enjoy it.
Have a happy
And
unicorn
hopefully
day.
this is the last live video we get to do.
Yes, we'll have to see. We'll just kind of see. Like I said, if this doesn't work well, I'm kind of done with the live videos until I can figure out a way to address the bandwidth issue.
Oh, what's the
So,
video yesterday?
what's that?
What was the video yesterday?
Yesterday we did the stamping of your bracelets. Remember? Oh, yes, there was a video yesterday, and yes, you should be able to find it. If you go out to my YouTube channel, it's in 2 different playlists. It's in the live videos and the quarantine videos. So there's 2 different playlists there. You should be able to find it in both of those.
I give hugs back.
Kate's a hugger. She's totally a hugger.
screen.
Matter of fact, it's funny. She has a teacher at school who is not a hugger at all, but she
find
will
her every morning
totally
to give her
take
hugs.
Kate's hugs because Kate gives the best hugs. Huh?
Yep, I've been told that by one of my friends.
Yes. All right, you guys, you have a wonderful day. We're going to go finish up some more schoolwork and maybe go do some fun activities. Have a good one.
Have a happy unicorn day.
Have a happy unicorn day.
Bye-bye. Bye.